Alright, so I just got the final tape for Renegades that was scattered around the planets, and it's got a pretty big reveal. So I'm just gonna play the tape for you first, and then I'm gonna give my thoughts on it after.
It's all right, Miss Ward. I'm still here. Four, good to hear from you.
Emissary, I'm prophecies open. I am never far.
What the Saturn want with sword logic?
Six, observe the enemies of liveness. Observe the ascendant, manifesting a master by will alone. A lord of every nothing. Ripples temptation across the fabric. You knew it. At your fall and rise. Temple defiant.
You speak of the Hive and the Taken. On the Dreadnought, we learned the Taken have a new master. And they created their king through force of will. They did not find one in the Taken. They willed one from nothing. Incredible.
Aren't you glad you called me emissary?
No.
So, Six isn't the Lord of Every Nothing like we originally thought. It's something completely new. It's a completely new entity. I was wrong. It's not Nezarec. It's not the Aeons or any of the Nine. It's something completely new that the Taken somehow manifested on their own. And according to the tape, it seems like Six's main reason for using the sword logic wasn't like what I originally thought, which was to escape his dependency on life in the universe and all that stuff like exist, but instead to fight against the Lord of Every Nothing. Another thing I want to talk about is the Renegades maps, specifically little spots where you can see the little like Lord of Every Nothing tentacles. I think the Ascendant Plane is bleeding into our reality. I know that sounds like really weird or whatever, because like the Taken can come through, so why can't the tentacles? Well, we've never really seen anything like this before. Honestly, it's only been like blights and like actual and like the Ascendant Plane energy, not actual physical stuff that was in the Ascendant Plane. And you could also say that because it was in the Dreadnought, why could it be out here? But that's because Oryx's throne world was pulled into the Dreadnought, so the Dreadnought is in a way part of the Ascendant Plane. The planets that I found these tentacles on were Mars and Europa. I found two on Mars. One's in the Sarlacc pit, obviously, and I'll put the other one on screen. It's in Hellas Fortitude. And I found four on Europa, all of them in the Forging Matrix. They're on screen right now. And I found none on Venus, which is interesting because, Mars and Europa are both linked to the darkness in some way, and the Ascendant Plane is, mainly darkness, at least from my understanding. You know, Mars was taken by the Witness, when Beyond Light launched. I don't know if it was like taking it into the Ascendant Plane or something. I don't know where it was taken, honestly. And Europa, it's got the Deepstone Crypt along with, the pyramid on it. So that might have something to do with the Lord of Every Nothing's presence on those planets. There's nothing to definitively draw a connection between but like to actually draw that connection. But it is a possibility that I just wanted to put out there. Another thing I wanted to state is that I think the Lord of Every Nothing isn't an entity in the Ascendant Plane. I think it is the Ascendant Plane. Part of it. I think it's sort of like an infection that's spreading through it. The main reason I say this is we fight regular Taken, not the dire Taken, in the exotic mission. Plus, when you look in the Ascendant Plane skybox, I don't remember ever seeing any of like the tentacles in the exotic mission. Like you do see in the Nether if it did, if one's ever. If once you ever brought it back, you could just go look for yourself. I don't have any footage, so you're just gonna have to trust me on that though. But that whole thing is kind of just based off of a hunch, so I wouldn't really treat it as like any sort of like actual fact or credible theory or anything like that. I do hope that this is the case though, because I'm gonna be honest, having an entire plane of reality be our enemy instead of just one guy is way cooler, at least in my opinion. But anyways, that's all I've got for this video. If you liked it and want to see more stuff like this, please leave a like and subscribe. Leave your comments and feedback and your thoughts and all that stuff down below. I love to hear your feedback. And with that, I will see you next time.